You awaken in a hush where yesterday's questions still hum. Will the unknown undo today? In the pale hush before sunrise, when gentle dawn brushes rooftops with rose, the silence itself becomes invitation. You sense the one who shelters you, steadfast as a mountain, eager to pour a river of grace across every anxious thought. So you let each breath surrender plans, opening hands you once clenched around outcomes, trusting his timing to shape them anew. Lamentations 3:2-20:30. These lines assure you that unfailing love renews with every morning, urging you to trade dread for hope before the first bird breaks the stillness. Which burden will you lay down so that steady footsteps find sure ground? Which desire longs to blossom into overflowing blessing through his touch? Now, as continual communion stirs within, your heart grows still, and you step into the quiet dialogue God has prepared for you today. Soft amber slips across the horizon, and you stand at the window that has watched every season of your becoming. The air carries dew fresh green and a hint of jasmine, promising that even the unseen is already in bloom. In this muted hour, you do not chase tasks, you allow daylight to discover you, revealing the quiet contours of both face and soul. Yesterday's noise lingers like footprints on damp sand, yet each measured breath smooths them away. You hear heaven's whisper, beginnings are blessings. Stillness may feel unusual, even vulnerable, yet silence is not vacancy. It is sacred space, where the Father's thoughts of you gather like gentle mist, waiting to water the dry places you seldom expose. Stay present to this hush. Listen beneath heartbeat and traffic for the soft cadence of mercy moving toward you. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I entrust my life. Let Psalm 143 aid. Morning kindness reaches you before decision or demand, persuading you that direction is a gift, never a wage. As those words settle, notice how gentle dawn teaches rhythm. Night never rushes the sun, darkness yields when radiance arrives. Likewise, you can unclench ambitions, letting purpose rise in its appointed glow. Lift your gaze from glowing screens to the eastern sky where pale gold widens. Let that quiet brilliance remind you that growth is gradual, steady, unstoppable. Shoulders loosen as you breathe slower, fuller, sensing heartbeat with birdsong, each syllable of their praise cleaning the air inside you. Picture the path before you as a winding lane bordered by buds not yet open. Your choices today will tilt every blossom towards shade or sun. You need not foresee each turning. The one who mapped constellations also charts your steps. So you ask, what small obedience will welcome more radiance? Perhaps a word of gentleness, a practiced silence, an unhurried apology. Dawn attains brilliance not by striving, but by yielding to light. Feel the warmth settling on your skin, real or remembered, seeping through fabric and bone, dissolving the chill of anxious forecasts. In that glow, you catch the quiet confidence of the psalmist. Guidance arrives when prayer precedes projects. You whisper consent, guide me along the path you love. With that assent, fear loosens its grip because destiny rests on his character, not your calculation. Beneath the widening sky, sparrows dart with effortless purpose, trusting currents you cannot see. Learn from them. Gentle dawn signals their ascent. Faith, not forecasting, secures their meal. Your provision too begins in trust. As sunbeams lengthen, each shadow falls behind, not erased, but rimmed with gold. Let gratitude name them, closed doors that redirected, unanswered requests that protected, disappointments that pruned deeper readiness. Memory, kissed by morning light, becomes testimony, so breathe again. Exhale stories of scarcity, inhale luminous assurance. When the first full ray crowns the rooftops, step forward, not to prove yourself, but to participate in grace unfolding. Carry within you the lesson of this gentle dawn. Beginnings are blessings, pace is promise, and light is faithful. Your day starts not with striving, but with shining. You follow the newborn light to the edge of your inner landscape and hear a hush like water gliding over polished stones. What once felt like a desert of spent resolve now reveals a winding current, clear, persistent, older than any worry you carry. You kneel within, letting the sound alone convince you that provision has been flowing long before you noticed. Dry places drink in the promise. Cracked earth softens without demanding explanation. This stream originates in the Father's heart, not in your performance. It asks no toll for passing through. It simply invites you to stand still while mercy gathers around your ankles, cooling the fever of striving. You sense how every drop remembers storms. He calmed on distant seas. Therefore nothing in this day can swell beyond his containment. Trust deepens as you feel the current push gently against resistance, guiding debris of regret downstream where it dissolves into forgetfulness. From his fullness you have received grace upon grace, says John 1:16. This verse reminds you that supply is layered, infinite, renewing itself faster than need can form. Lack is never final when abundance is the starting point. Now you release the weight you hid in clenched fists, ashamed failures, half-spoken fears, unopened joys, and watch each one swirl away like leaves surrendered to autumn runoff. You need not catalogue losses or measure worthiness. The river decides to carry everything light or heavy, sharp or shapeless, into depths where judgment cannot follow. In its mirror you glimpse your truest reflection, beloved, cleansed, still becoming. Listen to the cadence of the water meeting unseen stones. Feel how it carves new channels precisely because obstacles exist. So every obstacle facing you, tight budget, strained relationship, fragile health, becomes a shaping tool in the artist's hand, redirecting flow toward fertile ground you never imagined. What feels like detour may be irrigation for future fruitfulness. Trust the map hidden beneath the surface. Let gratitude form droplets of praise. Name gifts small as the steam curling from morning tea or vast as the breath still rising in your lungs. Each acknowledgement expands the riverbanks within you, making room for fresh currents of favor. As thanksgiving widens, compassion overflows the edges, seeping into conversations, decisions, passing glances. You carry living water in word and gesture a patient reply. A silent prayer for a stranger, a note of encouragement slipped beneath a colleague's door. Picture smooth stones glistening beneath the surface, pieces once jagged, now rounded by persistent caress. Your own rough edges will polish in similar rhythm as you remain immersed. Endurance is simply staying in the flow long enough for transformation to finish its quiet work. You do not force completion, you consent to be carried. Finally, cup your hands and lift a portion of this mercy to your lips. Let its coolness settle behind your eyes. renew clarity, temper impulse. When you rise, droplets will trail along your path. Evidence that blessed living begins not with accumulating, but with absorbing. The river moves on, yet a portion remains inside you, guiding choices with gentle undertow toward open hands. Your next invitation. Morning light has risen high enough to gild treetops, yet shadows still linger across your desk. Unfinished tasks, delicate negotiations, fragile hopes. You feel the tug to grip tighter, to secure every outcome with careful plans, but a quieter wisdom invites you to loosen your grasp. Stretch your fingers. Notice how palms curved by habit can unfurl like petals when warmed by trust. With each slow breath, release the script you rehearsed for today. The perfect conversation, the timely reply, the measure of success. As air soothes skin once marked by tension, you sense the Father's gentle smile. He treasures willingness more than control. A meadow breeze drifts through an open window, stirring curtains the way grace stirs possibility. It reminds you that seed can sprout only after leaving the shelter of the sower's hand. Let desire, still small and bright, fall into soil beyond your sight. Surrender does not mean neglect. It means entrusting growth to the one who composed seasons. In yielding, you create space for unseen rain, uncounted sunlight, quiet roots. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. These words invite you to exchange limited insight for flawless guidance, ensuring that any detour leads closer to destiny. Consider the swallow gliding beneath wide sky, wings beat in rhythm, yet wind carries the greater burden of lift. So too, your effort has value, yet outcome rides on currents beyond calculation. You can plan with diligence, but leave margin for holy surprise, a phone call that redirects, a pause that protects, a closed door that conceals a better one. Each interruption may be disguised orchestration moving you toward purer purpose. Now, think of relationships weighted by expectation. When you loosen hold on how conversation must unfold, kindness can breathe, forgiveness can land softly, mutual discovery can replace rehearsed defense. An open hand signals safety. Hearts often bloom in such gentle presence. Choose a single name and pray silent blessing. Let compassion travel like pollen on spring wind, unseen yet generative. Notice how relinquishing brings relief rather than emptiness. Empty space becomes vessel for peace, idea, friendship. Creativity flows where anxiety once pooled. You may sense fresh insight, a solution arriving like song on the wing, unexpected yet unmistakably timed. Celebrate its arrival without clinging, allow it to keep moving, blessing others along its flight. As noon nears, sunlight pours unfiltered across the room, spotlighting dust motes that dance without fear of falling. They trust the beam to hold them. Likewise, your surrendered offerings do not plummet into void. They rest within brilliance of perfect love. Every open-handed gesture turns into choreography of grace, resources shared with someone in need, an apology offered before asked, a boundary drawn to honor soul health. End this moment by raising hands, literal or imagined, curving fingers once more, then opening them wide. Whisper, everything that comes is yours. Everything that stays is gift. Everything that leaves makes room. A hush settles, deeper than before, and you realize blessed living is not accumulation but circulation. love passing freely through willing hands. High noon spills ivory light across the horizon, sharpening every contour of road and rooftop. You step from the cool threshold of surrender into the warm dust of calling, where choice after choice stretches like flagstones toward dusk. Each decision is a footprint that echoes beyond the moment, yet peace steadies your pace. The one who authored dawn now orders direction. Hear the quiet cadence beneath your soles, a rhythm older than anxiety, guiding you into purposeful momentum. Wind brushes your cheek with sage, tinged warmth, and you picture a shepherd leading flock across terraced hills. Sheep trust stride more than sight. They advance because a familiar voice moves ahead. So you listen for that voice amid office chatter, traffic horns, crowded inbox. It often surfaces as a whisper that cuts through urgency. Pause, speak gently, or turn this way. Those micro nudges, honored promptly, become mile markers of faithfulness. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. These words promise guidance tailored to each bend, ensuring no crossroad excludes divine companionship. Hearing precedes hurried planning. Imagine the path as earth still soft from river mist, eager to record your obedient imprint. You need not sprint. Progress is measured by willingness, not velocity. Take deliberate steps, greet the janitor by name. Choose integrity when compromise whispers convenience, guard margins for rest. Each act presses deeper confidence into the ground, mapping courage for those who follow. When uncertainty blurs horizon lines, lift eyes to cedar branches swaying overhead. Trees do not resent storms. Their roots thicken by meeting resistance. Likewise, trials do not cancel promise. They calibrate endurance. You feel strong wind rise, tugging hair and possibility. Instead of bracing in panic, anchor in remembrance setbacks. Teach step sure balance, like dancers learning center. Let gusts refine posture without dislodging resolve. At times the route narrows across ravines of doubt, rails absent, drop sheer. Fear may tighten chest, yet grace steadies gait. You breathe slowly, counting heartbeat as metronome inhale purpose, exhale panic. Each measured stride declares trust louder than lips could. Even slip marks become testimonies when grace grasps elbow before fall. Consider companions walking beside, family, colleagues, strangers encountered by holy timing. Their pace may falter or rush. You adjust stride to encourage, not compete. Offer a steadying word, lend umbrella of prayer, share trail mix of laughter. Community is the echo of his faithfulness reverberating between souls, keeping spirits upright when knees tremble. Sun arcs westward, painting path with elongated shadows that remind you time is gift, not tyrant. Schedules pulse with meeting alerts. Yet eternity interprets faithfulness over productivity. Choose to finish tasks with honesty rather than haste. Place phone face down during conversation. Thank God aloud when solution surfaces after patient searching. These slow virtues add weight to every footfall, leaving tracks luminous long after daylight fades. As afternoon wanes, you glance back. The road behind gleams where souls once touched. Confidence rises that the miles ahead will glow likewise. Whisper gratitude for unseen guardians who mark boundary lines, for wisdom that interrupts misstep, for courage that persists despite thin places. Promise to lift eyes again at the next bend, guidance will meet you there. Your steps now carry settled cadence. As if heartbeat syncs with heaven's drum, continue forward, not hurried, not hesitant, simply faithful. Each footprint proclaims, grace began the journey, obedience keeps rhythm, glory awaits at threshold of night. Mid-afternoon light now sparks against window panes like scattered coins, hinting at abundance that refuses to stay hidden. You pause and sense the current of earlier grace rising within, seeking outlet. Blessing was never meant to stagnate. Like a brimming cup, it must tilt toward others or grow stale. You picture your life as an earthen vessel glazed by mercy, hairline cracks included, through which generosity can seep into thirsty places. This leakage is not loss, it is design. The potter shaped you porous so that kindness might travel farther than your reach. Listen a co, worker sighs under workload. A neighbor's laughter rings thin, masking worry, headlines churn, amplifying scarcity. Your blessing, time, skill. Gentle word arrives as counter song. You need not solve every crisis. You carry one drop of living water at a time, trusting adjoining streams to gather. When openness meets opportunity, multiplication happens quietly, like yeast in warm dough. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. See Luke 6:38. Here generosity is framed as a cycle. As you release resources, heaven recalibrates return, ensuring shortage never outpaces supply. Begin with small acts, forward a helpful article, lend an attentive ear without glancing at the clock, leave an anonymous note of affirmation. Each deed echoes through unseen chambers, stirring courage in hearts you may never meet. Blessing is contagious. Gratitude in one soul often births hope in another, creating ripples that outlast your sight. Consider material provision, salary, loaf of bread, spare room. Budgeting prudence and open-handed charity are not rivals, they dance in harmony. Teaching you trust that refuses hoarding. Allocate a portion towards someone whose need intersects your story today. Perhaps groceries for a student, fare for a migrant worker's journey home, paintbrushes for a child discovering color. In giving, you rehearse eternity's economy, where love, not ledger, defines worth. God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. 2 Corinthians 9:8. This verse affirms that sufficiency accompanies assignment. You lack nothing essential for the service appointed to you. God motive blessing shared to gain acclaim soon soars. Sacrecy preserves purity. Hidden generosity allows fragrance to rise untainted, like night blooming jasmine releasing perfume unseen. Celebrate inwardly, letting joy swell in quiet partnership with heaven. Even if recipient never knows the source, the giver records every unnoticed seed. Sometimes abundance manifests as intangible overflow, wisdom gleaned from failure, resilience crafted in pain. Offer testimony when prompted. Story becomes lantern for travelers still in shadow. Your scars sparkle like river stones polished by hardship, reflecting comfort toward wounded wanderers. As sun slopes westward, you feel heartbeats match its golden rhythm, steady, generous, glowing. Evaluate day's ledger. Which moments spilled blessing? Where might overflow yet travel before dusk? Perhaps a voice memo of thanks, an apology that liberates both sides, a prayer whispered for someone miles away. Finally, Stand beneath waning light and lift open palms toward ember sky. Feel warmth settling upon skin, coursing inward until spirit brims once more. Promise to stay circulatory, receiving without grasping, giving without dwindling. Night will discover reservoirs replenished. Ready for continual communion, you walk on, a mobile well, spilling life with every step. Twilight gathers violet and gold above the horizon, and you feel the day exhale around you, the hush after labor, the hush before rest. Yet inside, conversation continues like a candle that refuses the wind. Communion is not confined to sunrise petitions or midday sighs. It is the slow, burning wick that lights every corridor of awareness. You carry it now into evening corridors, noticing how the gentle presence that welcomed dawn still shadows your steps as shadows lengthen. Crickets tune their instruments. City lights blink awake. You sit where lamplight meets window pane and recall each moment grace revealed itself, the email answered with patience, the smile you almost withheld but offered, the problem solved because stillness made space for insight. Thread these pearls on a cord of gratitude and slip them over your heart. They are evidence that the holy breath has woven through ordinary tasks, sewing wonder into routine fabric. Silence deepens, yet it is not empty. It hums with the same frequency as your pulse. You speak without lips, simple acknowledgements, unhurried questions, soft praise. Then pause to listen. Sometimes response arrives as wordless assurance, more felt than heard, an interior nod that says, "Yes, I am here." Other times a memory surfaces, a phrase from morning prayer returning like echo over water, steering thought clear of despair. You learn that listening is love's highest form. It grants space for mystery to write on the walls of the soul. Consider the night sky galaxies wheel beyond sight. Yet their gravitational dance holds oceans in check. So too, God's unseen movements keep inner tides from flooding fear. Communion is trusting those cosmic hands even when vision dims. You welcome darkness as classroom, where faith studies star charts invisible by day. Every breath becomes a compass needle pointing home. Now examine tomorrow's outline lying beside your planner. It brims with bullet points and highlighted deadlines. But tonight you resist rehearsing. Instead, you place the pages beneath gentle palm and whisper, "I invite you into every line." You entrust meetings, meals, and unexpected interruptions to divine choreography. Continual communion turns calendar squares into altars. Tasks become liturgy. Rest becomes sacrament. You notice tired muscles and honor them. Communion includes body, not just spirit. Stretch shoulders, drink cool water, allow heartbeat to slow. In this kindness to flesh, you echo the Creator who pronounced bodies good. Fatigue does not signal failure, it signals need. You wrap day's accomplishments and unfinished pieces alike in cotton of contentment, knowing perfection was never the goal. Presence was. As night deepens, memories flicker those you love, those you find hard to love, those who feel far from any love. You lift their names like lanterns, setting them afloat on a river of mercy. Trust the current to guide each lamp where healing waits. Prayer travels while you sleep. Communion never clocks out. Finally, draw curtain, dim lamp, and lie beneath quilted hush. Imagine wings, perhaps angelic, perhaps metaphor for hope, hovering above. You inhale steady peace one last time, then exhale into slumber. Continual communion means you close eyes, but not connection. Dream corridors echo with the same sustaining voice that sang the universe awake. You drift, held. Soft darkness wraps the earth and your eyelids, yet unseen, grace still moves. Guarding breaths, mending thoughts, watering the seeds planted at dawn. Let mind replay the day's finest hue and offer a silent thank you. Welcome sleep as holy ground where restoration grows in secret, and believe that sunrise will meet you already full of promise. Rest, knowing no shadow can outrun the light poised to rise within you again.